Good morning. Welcome to Walking Boxing. It is Saturday, January 25th, 2025, and heated up a little bit this morning. It's been pretty chilly, or very chilly, the last couple of mornings, but not bad this morning. I'll just take that out of my ear there so I can hear. But yeah, a little bit happening in boxing. Last night, of course, Naoya Inoue just obliterated Jun Kim in 4 rounds. And look, I suppose it was to be expected. I think we all hoped that Kim would give Inoue something, but look, how hard is it with, what was it, 13 days notice, something like that? I mean, it must have been tough. Even though he would have been in the background preparing for maybe this opportunity, because I think what happened from all accounts is that they didn't really trust that Sam Goodman would make it to the starting grid to fight Inoue after the cut. They weren't sure whether it would heal or sufficiently in time and something might happen, so they had Kim on standby. I'm not sure whether he was on the undercard or anything like that, but he was on standby. And but even though we would have been preparing, when the call came, it would have been very, very hard to actually just switch on into fight mode with less than 2 weeks notice. It's a very hard thing to do. You can be physically prepared, but when it becomes mentally prepared, it would have become all too real for him at that time. And just the whole build-up, having just the rush of the whole promotion and getting those, being rushed into press conferences and photo shoots and interviews and all that sort of stuff, it would have been quite overwhelming. Not that would have helped him at all, even if he had probably 14 weeks or 13 weeks to prepare instead of 13 days. But look, in a way, he's just something else, isn't he? Look, end of the day, he did what he was supposed to do. He blew away Kim, he was game. He was game, but I've got to question the tactics of sort of smiling at Naoya Inoue and almost sort of waving him on at the 4th round. I didn't watch the whole card live, by the way. I've watched it since on YouTube. I couldn't see the sense in why they would be charging, what was it, $50 or $60 to watch it on main event. I just couldn't see the value in it. I know apparently the undercard was really good, but to pay $50 or $60 to watch Naoya Inoue obliterate a very, very overmatched opponent, as I said, I thought I'll just wait till this morning and watch it on YouTube, and everything's happy. We're all happy. But yeah, look, it was just, again, one of those performances where he did what he had to do. I think he sort of played a little bit with Kim for the first 3 rounds, sort of got his range, said, right, enough's enough. I've got 2 other fights this year, so I'm not going to risk anything, any cuts or injuries, that sort of stuff. I'm going to get him out of there. That right hand, he reminds me a lot of Wilfredo Gomez from back in the 80s. And if you don't know much about Wilfredo Gomez, go back and check him out. And ironically, same weight division, 122 from Puerto Rico. Ended up getting beaten by Salvador Sanchez in a real super fight of that time. But they called him the bazooka, by the way. But just poise, balance, timing, speed, power, everything, you name it, and he had it. And he almost the same sort of style where he'd probably take 1 or 2 sometimes to land his own, but when he did land that punch, it was good night. It's just a phenomenal knockout puncher at that weight. And the way he would sort of hunt you down like Inoue does and just wait for his moment, and then just that just precision of speed and power, just boom, boom. And in the words of Isaac Hardman last night especially, it was the 1-2 Timmy Tszyu, wasn't it? It was just a bang, bang, left, right, and the right hand hit right on the button. And you don't necessarily see that too often, just with that just like a razor, just boom, boom, a 1-2, a really well-timed combination where it hits him right on the button. I know he's knocked out a lot of people that way, and we did see it even with our own Jason Maloney when he got nailed with the right hand, a very similar shot. And the way he just executes it is just amazing. And a lot of fighters have got power, but they don't have that timing and precision that fighters like Inoue have, and they just get guys out of there. But as I said, he does remind me a little bit of Wilfredo Gomez, who used to do the same sort of things back in the day. And ironically, he went up to featherweight, like they're all wanting Inoue to do. And he ran into Salvador Sanchez and was stopped in the 8th round. Now, I don't think, fortunately for Naoya Inoue, there's no Salvador Sanchez waiting for him at featherweight, so I don't think anyone will stop him. And I know they're talking about fights with Tank Davis and this sort of stuff, you know, maybe to go in line with Crawford going up to fight Canelo. I don't know, all these matchups that they're sort of putting together. I don't like to say. I think featherweight would be it for for Naoya Inoue. I know he's talented, but I just don't see the sense in risking the perfection that he is now, just to keep the fans happy about keeping going up in weight. Now, it's the old adage, you know, weight will stop a train if you keep adding to it. You know, eventually it will stop, and I think that's what's going to happen with Naoya Inoue. I think he's even naturally, you know, even at 118, I think is his weight. He's obviously gone up to 122 to do his thing, and dominating there as well. But I think featherweight, I think that would be it. Unfortunately, as I said, there's no Salvador Sanchez there waiting for him. I just don't see the sense in going up and beating a Nick Ball or someone like that. I just can't see it. At super bantamweight, there's still, or 122, there's still some fights for him. It looks like, it was interesting after the fight, I've got 2 more fights planned this year, and surprisingly, neither one of them are Junto Nakatani. Junto himself has said that no, he's not interested in Inoue at the moment. They've both got their own tracks to go down, and it looks like Naoya Inoue will fight in Vegas in May, which would be awesome. It's going to be a big month. I'll get to that in a second. And it looks like it might be David Picasso in May. And then probably the one fighter left who a lot of people think might test Naoya Inoue, and that is Murodjon Akhmadaliev. Is that how you pronounce it? You know who I'm talking about, the Russian. He's the one that I think most people want to see him fight at 122 if he stays there, and that will be later in the year, most likely in Saudi Arabia. So he'll make his Saudi Arabian debut, Naoya Inoue, so which is good. That'll be 3 fights for the year, and I just love the way he stays active. Now again, it's not like he's fighting those superstars every fight, but he's keeping busy, he's giving everyone opportunities, fulfilling his mandatories, and just a throwback to yesteryear is Naoya Inoue, when he just fights all comers and makes them all look easy, doesn't he? But yeah, that Junto Nakatani situation, I think both guys were interviewed separately, and Junto Nakatani said that it will come in good time. But at the moment, obviously with Naoya, we're having 2 fights this year. Junto Nakatani's got a fight coming up as well, and then he'll fight at least 1 more time later in the year, and then 2026 looks like it will be when the biggest Japanese fight of all time will take place. So plenty of things to look forward to there. No mention, unfortunately, of Sam Goodman. So if Naoya Inoue spends the year with those 2 fights against Murodjon Akhmadaliev and David Picasso, well, that means Sam Goodman's frozen out for the year. He's going to have to wait till 2026, I would think, to get an opportunity. The only possibility he may have is if they do a Canelo situation, sorry, I'll just get Neil here, where in a way, one of those fights against Picasso or MJ, that he doesn't satisfy one of the sanctioning bodies and they strip him like the IBF did with Canelo, and we might get a William Skull situation where Sam Goodman gets a shot at one of the vacant titles. That's the only thing I can probably see for Sam, where he's going to get another opportunity at the 122-pound title this year. But I've got a feeling eventually Sam will get his chance. I don't think it's going to be against Naoya Inoue, but I think he'll get a shot at one of those belts, and the rest is up to him. Another big fight that was, well, not a big fight, I don't think, but a big for Australian boxing is that Tszyu has been rumoured, I have said in the last couple of days, April 6th will be the date, but it's rumoured that the opponent will be Joey Spencer. Now, Joey Spencer is 19-1 with 11 KOs. He did lose a couple of years ago to Jesus Ramiro, I think it was, or Ramos, sorry, Jesus Ramos Jr. He lost to. That's his only, that was probably the only real name I think that he's really fought. But look, I think he's actually a pretty good choice for an opponent for Tim Tszyu, even though he's had the 11 KOs, limited opposition, so not a massive puncher. I don't think he's going to be a real threat, but the good thing is he's rated, he's in form, he's known. So I actually think it's a perfect opponent for Tim to come back against. I think Tim, if his mindset is the way it was prior to those last couple of defeats, I think shouldn't have too much of a problem with Joey Spencer. But yeah, I like it, and by all accounts it's going to be in Newcastle, which is great. They haven't done a show, I don't think, in Newcastle for a little while, especially with Tim Tszyu, of course, so I think it'll be a massive event up there. It'll be on a Sunday afternoon, and it'll be good to see Tim back. Yeah, as I said, I think he will have more than what it takes to beat Joey Spencer. But again, Joey Spencer, to be honest, is still actually a little bit more credentialed than I would probably like actually for Tim's fight. You know, I've made no secret about that. I think he just should fight the biggest spud around just to get a win. And I was just going to say, even if it's not pay-per-view, but this one doesn't look going to be pay-per-view, although you can bet your bottom dollar in Australia it will be pay-per-view, 100%. It's been marketed as a non-pay-per-view event on Amazon, I think it is. It'll be no cost overseas, but do you really think that No Limit is going to let us off the hook here in Australia for you know, those 20 or 30,000 people that are going to pay $70 a pop? Yeah, I don't think so. And the hotels are going to pay $1,000 to put it on? Nah, it will 100% be pay-per-view here in Australia, but overseas, absolutely free. So yeah, I think it's a good fight for him, I really do. Spencer, again, yeah, look, he's got a good kit of punches, not too bad sort of technique, but I just think Tim Tszyu will get the job done over Joey Spencer, and then be back. The only thing I'm just conscious of is that if Tim does win semi-impressively, it'll be the Timmy Tszyu show all over again. Timmy's going to do this and Timmy's going to do that, and look out, the winner of Canelo Crawford. That's what I want them to guard him against. Now, I know it's almost impossible in an environment like Australia where we just get way too ahead of ourselves, especially the fanboys in the press that will just write ridiculous stories about Tim. And I think even he would cringe a little bit by some of the stories and some of the fantasies they dream up. But all I want him to do is get a win. I'm hoping his mindset is that he just gets the win and then just focuses on everything else and forgets all the back slappers and all the ones saying, you can go on and beat the likes of Crawford and Canelo and whoever else they might throw on him. I just want him to get back to focus on it and maybe learn from especially the last loss, that it's just not going to happen for you. He has to work on a few things. Be prepared for these big dogs in the division, because I can just see it now. I can just see the headlines. If he beats Joey Spencer impressively, it'll be Timmy Tszyu is back. Look out, Canelo. That's what we'll be looking at. So let's hope they avoid that. What else was I going to talk about today? There was something else. There's only 3 things I was going to talk about, by the way, and you reckon I can remember it? Oh, yes, speaking of Canelo, I just had to look at my phone there. I'm thinking I only had a couple of things to talk about. What was the other thing? I'm already talking about Canelo. But yes, the fight with Crawford is apparently set. Not so much signed, of course, but September the 13th in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena. It would be, I think, Canelo's 12th fight at the venue. That's Mexican Independence Weekend. I was going to say it was Cinco de Mayo, but it's not. That's the start of May. So by all accounts, it is happening, and it's probably no surprise. I know a lot of people sort of thumb their noses at it at the start, but I think as the months have gone on, I think it's been pretty obvious what's been cooking in the background, and I can't wait. I think it'd be fantastic. Canelo apparently is going to keep his Cinco de Mayo date, though, which is May the 3rd at the T-Mobile as well. So looks like it'll probably be who is it? William Skull. There has been talk about Billy, but I'm not sure that would probably want to risk Canelo against Billy, because he's a bit reckless. They mightn't want injuries or cuts or whatever, but Skull, of course, has got what he wants, and that's that IBF belt. So that seems to be in play for May the 3rd, and then the Crawford fight in September. So I just think the build up throughout the year will be fantastic. Crawford, I don't think will fight before then. I think he'll be more than happy to sit out. It would have been 13 months by the time he gets in the ring since the Madrimov fight, so I don't think that will worry him too much. It seems to be the norm in the last few years. He fights just once a year. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I know a lot of people aren't, I get that, but I just think it's great and it's intriguing. I said before, Canelo does tend to get the concrete in the boots sometimes and doesn't move a lot, and he's not overly fast and can be hit. And Crawford's such a sharp shooter with great boxing IQ, great footwork, great hand speed. He can switch from both stances. I'm not going to try and say that word I tried to say the other day. He's just good with left and right stances. So the big factor, of course, is the weight, and that's what will play out in September, I suppose. But look, it's another big fight to look forward to. And May's going to be interesting because if Canelo fights on the 3rd, we've got the Garcia-Haney doubleheader on the 2nd. Then we will have Inoue later in the month as well, so a big month of May. And of course, we've got a massive February coming up, highlighted by that massive card in Saudi Arabia. Probably, I think, the most stacked card I think I've ever seen. That card in Saudi Arabia with Bivol and Beterbiev. Yes, there's been bigger fights than Bivol Beterbiev, but that undercard, I've never seen anything like it. Is it 6 world title fights, 6 12-round title fights, all on the one card. It is just something that I've never seen before, and I was going to say we probably won't see again, but the odds are we will if Turki Al-Sheikh's involved. So hey, we'll take it while they're there. They are some great fights, and we'll be covering that obviously more in depth over the next 4 weeks. And one last thing, I said yesterday about the clapback with Oscar De La Hoya. Well, Bill Haney's come back with his own clapback at Oscar. And look, I think look, Oscar will probably laugh it off a little bit, but geez, it would have probably had to have stung a little bit, because I think Bill Haney would have hit him right where he's a little bit vulnerable, and that's with his kids. He did say, well, at least I've got a great relationship with my son and my other kids. They all live with me, and everyone's, well, not Devon, but he's got two younger kids as well, and they all have a fantastic relationship, a loving family relationship, whereas Oscar doesn't talk to any of his, what's he got, 6 kids or something, I think? I'm not sure. A lot of kids anyway, and apparently doesn't have a relationship with any of them. So that was something that Bill Haney, again, probably thought, well, where can I strike that's going to hurt Oscar the most, with the heartstrings, and that was it. So, but yeah, look, it's a little bit, you know, I don't like to see it. I don't like to see it. I mean, it's a bit of fun, I know, but let's start keeping, you know, we'll keep the family out of it and all that sort of stuff and keep it clean. But anyway, let them go at it. It's entertaining for us fans anyway. Be entertaining as well when they cross paths next time, I would think, as well. He's got a few he's got to sort of keep an eye on, hasn't he, Oscar? He's got Eddie Hearn, and now he's got Bill Haney, and I'm sure there'll be others along the line as well. But guys, look, that's going to do it for today. Hope you'll have a great Saturday, and we'll catch you tomorrow.